So a very disappointing loss by the Baltimore Ravens in Week 2, losing to the Las Vegas Raiders 26-23. Main reasons why the Ravens lost. Number one was, again, the offensive line did not protect Lamar Jackson well enough to give him time to throw or make plays. There were times where Max Crosby, who is the Raiders' best player on the defensive side of the ball, was left absolutely untouched and unblocked, having a free line to Lamar Jackson where he had zero time to do anything with it. I mean, I don't understand what the scheme is going on there, but I just don't understand how you can have one snap or one play where the best player on the defensive end for the Raiders, who is a pass rusher, can absolutely go unblocked. I just don't understand how that happens. So that's one thing for sure. The other thing was Devontae Adams. We all know how good Devontae Adams is, and most of the time it doesn't matter who's throwing him the football. He's that good where just throw to his area where he has a chance to go get it. He's gonna probably make the spectacular play more than most on that step on the field. There were times we left him in single coverage where I feel like that should not have happened. Now the defense did a good job of shutting down the run game, which was Zamir Wright, a young running back who's expected to do really well for the Raiders this season. Defense did a good job of shutting that down. But you know Devontae Adams is coming. You should never leave him one-on-one at any point in the game. I don't care if he has only one catch for the entire game going to the fourth quarter. I am limiting Devontae Adams as much as I possibly can and making the quarterback throw to somebody else. Somebody else has to catch the ball and make a play. It can't be Devontae Adams. There were too many times where the Ravens left Devontae Adams one-on-one coverage and he did what everyone expected him to do, which is beat it. So those are two things that I feel like are just absolutely inexcusable, and that's not a way that you close out a football game. Again, the Ravens, for the 10th time in the past handful of seasons, they've given up fourth quarter leads, double-digit fourth quarter leads, because they were about 10 going into the fourth quarter. Another thing was 104 yards on penalties. That's just ridiculous in my opinion. Now, we can complain about the referees making these questionable calls, and there were some questionable calls. No, make no mistake about it. One that stuck out to me the most was the face mask penalty on Nnamdi Madubuike, formerly known Justin Madubuike, where he clearly grabs Gardner Minshew by the chest, and he's nowhere near the neck or face mask area, yet they throw the flag and call the face mask. That's a massive play right there. And the other one was the late pass interference on Devontae Adams. I thought the referees waited until the ball hit the ground for them to then throw the flag and then call pass interference, which basically put the Raiders right there at the 1 yard line, and they went ahead and scored. But I'm not a person that wants to blame the refs for a loss, because at this point, if you're a Ravens fan and you've been watching and paying attention, you should basically expect the refs to make bad calls against the Ravens for whatever reason. I don't know if it's just the Ravens, but it's just what I've noticed over the past handful of years, that there are certain calls that don't make any kind of sense, that I feel if the Ravens sent that to the league, they would probably say those are terrible calls. But it doesn't matter what sport you play. You come into a game expecting bad calls from the referees. You have to basically be prepared for that and understand that it's probably going to happen. It's just the way it is. It doesn't matter what sport you're playing. So I'm not going to use that as an excuse, but 104 penalty yards is not a good look. It's part of the reason that the Ravens really set themselves back. There was another penalty where they got a call to false start on Derrick Henry, even though it looked like the defense had jumped off sides first. Derrick Henry, they're in this very weird formation where I guess they're trying to get cute here. Why are you even lining up like that to begin with? Why don't you just line up in a simple I formation and give Derrick Henry the football, move the chains, keep the clock going, and end the game right there? The Ravens did a lot of things to put themselves in a position to help the Raiders out by stopping the clock, calling certain plays and formations that led to some of the ill-advised penalties that the Ravens had. So it's a lot of things that you can do to unpack here. And then the last thing for me was John Harbaugh. The challenge that he decided to, moments when he decided to throw the challenge flag, there were two plays that were clearly not going to be a play that you could have won. It was clear as day. The first one was Zay Flowers. It hit the turf. It's no point in throwing a challenge flag and burning the timeout. And then the other flag, I can't remember what it was for, but I know it was a play where you're not going to win that challenge. It's clear as day. Don't overreact to the crowd just because they see the screen. It's oh, wait, I think you should throw it. No, you need to look at the replay and see that if it's a play that's worth doing that, because you are losing timeouts that are key that you're probably going to need down the stretch in the game. So there's coaching errors, there's scheme errors, and the offensive line is just getting exposed. Like, if the offensive line is going to play like that against Max Crosby, what do you think Micah Parsons is going to do? Because it's not going to get any more simple for you. The next game, you got to deal with Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys. The game after that, you got to deal with Von Miller and the Buffalo Bills the next game. So the offensive line needs to get it together quick, fast, and in a hurry, because these are two critical games coming up for the Ravens. I'm not pushing the panic button at all, because it is look, the Cincinnati Bengals are 0-2. Everyone's giving them the benefit of the doubt because they've done it before or whatever. They have an easy schedule. They'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Ravens don't get that benefit of the doubt. You just don't. So you got a much harder schedule, and a lot of people are having high expectations of you, as they should, that you are one of the best teams in the NFL who have a chance to contend for a Super Bowl. But these next two games are very critical. You drop these two games, your season is very much in jeopardy. Many will say that it's over. I'm not even going to go that far, but many will say that your season is over if you start out 0-4. I don't see the Ravens doing that. I see them responding to the challenge coming up this weekend with the Dallas Cowboys and then the Buffalo Bills. And I see the Ravens finding some momentum and shoring up those ill-advised mistakes to be said. Because, look, I can't sit here and say that the Raiders were a better team. The better team won Sunday. Let's give the Raiders credit. Gardner Minshew, once again, pulled out another win against the Ravens. He's done it before, and he did it again. So credit to him. But you can't watch that game and tell me that the Ravens didn't have the ability to win that football game fairly easily, in my opinion. I thought there were a lot of mistakes and a lot of just really mental mistakes and just things that didn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, there are times where the Ravens are doing formations that aren't Ravens football. Again, we harp on what happened in the AFC Championship, how the Ravens barely ran the football, and they tried to play more of a Kansas City style of game. When have you ever known the Ravens to ever be that type of team that is going to be a pass-heavy offense and not run the football? Ever since their existence, they were born and bred on running the football and being a smash-mouth, in-your-face team and playing physical defense. This is no time to start changing up that identity and trying to get cute. Ravens have to stay who they are and get back to the basics of Ravens football if they're going to turn this around and get out of this 0-2 hole that they're in.